Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brett Keane from GodTvRadio. Make sure you check out my gaming channel, Games You Love. Also, don't forget to check out my new Movies You Love, where I, of course, talk about, guess what? Movies. Also, check out my brother's YouTube channel and the various YouTube channels I have out there all over the web. All links can be found in the description, including my website that has exclusive content on it, GodTvRadio.com. Make sure you connect with me on Facebook and Twitter, yes. So, last night I did a live show. I always do live shows. If you guys subscribe to the page that is in my descriptions having to do with my shows, you will get a little pop-up or a message letting you know. And you can actually get up on video and attempt to take on the great one, Brett Keane. The most electrifying personality on YouTube. It just is what it is. So I had a lot of atheists come at me and text and on video, and of course I destroyed every single one of them intellectually. Not a problem, didn't even break a sweat. It's what I do. Been doing it for years. So what ends up happening is that some people, apparently they didn't like the video that I did before this one where I explained fair use and copyright and all that. Had a couple DP fans contact me on Skype and on the phone. And they tried to educate the old man on fair use and how that works. But unfortunately for them, I had to show them exactly what fair use was. And I've actually got a video up where I go through the whole legality of it. All the information. It's right there. I also have posted up a legal document explaining fair use, what you're allowed to do, all that kind of stuff. And none of the shit that atheists are doing falls into it whatsoever. One of the big points is that you can't demoralize or devalue the original creator of the content. So that puts out the whole humiliation and harassment technique that the atheists do out there. In fact, YouTube's actually got community guidelines as well as YouTube policies that state that you're not allowed to use the website for harassment, cyberbullying, cyberstalking, and such. But one of the greatest things that I found really funny, there's a bunch of atheists out there. They said, but Brett, the reason why you get all these nasty calls is because you put your phone number out there on the web. This guy, he's talking to me on Skype and says this to me. And I said, do me a favor real quick. And he goes, okay, what's that, Brett? I said, go get your phone book. He goes, well, I don't know if I got a phone book. I'll have to ask my mom. Apparently most of the fans of DP are little kids who think that they're somehow being the superhero for TJ or whatever, so be it. But the little ignoramus goes and he gets the phone book. He comes back, and as politely and nicely as I can be, I ask him to take a look into the phone book just to open up randomly to any page. He says, okay. And I said, what do you see? And he goes, well, there's a bunch of people's phone numbers there. And I go, well, would you say that these people allowed their phone numbers to be out there for the public? And he goes, yeah, so what's your point? And I said, does this mean that you can go down the line and start calling all these different people because they allowed their number to be accessible to call them up, harass them, make death threats and nasty stuff? Well, of course, the youngster didn't really have anything to say at that point. He ended up embarrassing himself and looking stupid like most atheists do. So I ended up hanging up with him and going on my merry way. See, I know whenever I'm talking to certain people, when the opportunity actually arises for me to sow seeds, I know when I'm talking to somebody, if they're actually wanting to get into a conversation having to do with God, why it is I believe what I believe, and if a person is open-minded and wants to talk to me about it, I talk to him about it. But if you're simply trying to defend criminal acts or slander or libel, if you're just simply trying to defend a stupid group out there that bullies and terrorizes people, I don't really care to talk to you for too long. In fact, I get bored very quickly when I hear stupid stuff from people who have no idea what they're talking about. Now, the deal is still on. DP has a week to make arrangements for a public apology. It is not blackmail to ask someone to apologize to you for doing you wrong. For some of you out there who are paranoid and delusional, I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for some kind of shout out. I'm not asking for some kind of help in the search engines. I don't require any monetization, and I'm not even asking them to remove content that they did a long time ago about me. I'm asking for a public apology or to stop talking trash about my kids and wife. I think that's fair. If some atheist out there decided that he wanted to attack another atheist and grab images off your Facebook of your wife and children and insult the living hell out of them, you'd expect some kind of compensation. You'd probably even desire whooping their ass. But I'm not a violent person. I don't get into violence unless I'm defending myself from someone who attacks me first. But I'm sure that if the roles were reversed and the shoes were on the other feet, you would completely and utterly have a meltdown if you were to suffer even half of the aggravation and annoyance that I get on a daily basis. But that's the difference between me and most people. I don't break, I don't get intimidated, and nobody bullies me or pushes me around. If I have to take things to court, if I have to do what I got to do, I will. Now, TJ, one last thing before we end this. You may be under the impression, you and your brother and your little group there, your little handful of monkeys, that if you make videos talking trash about me and thousands of these little kids decide that they want to cheer you on and root you on like little cheerleaders of drug addicts and drunks, you may get the impression that somehow you have an army behind you, that these people are somehow going to protect you or help you and assist you in dealing with judges and courts and lawyers. This shows me that drug use has infiltrated your mind and completely fried your cells. You see, none of these little 15-year-olds are going to represent you. They're not going to get to come into the courtroom and protect you from what you have done to other people. Cyber stalkers, cyber bullies, and people who break the contract of fair use and steal people's copyright material, they don't get any support or help. All you have is you coming up and having to defend yourself against your own videos and your own audio and the things that are clearly obvious for all to see out there. None of them are going to be there for you. 500,000 subscribers are not going to be in the courtroom to help you. They probably won't even know you're sitting in jail. They're probably going to be running around on YouTube going, geez, where'd TJ go? How come there's no Drunken Peasants show? What happened? Did he dies? No, he didn't die. He's sitting in a jail cell right now eating cheap-ass macaroni, most likely, or cheese, because he's too stupid to figure out what he's doing is incorrect and wrong. TJ, I don't want to do this to you. I don't want to sit there and have to go through this crap. But if you're not going to learn and you can't be educated, you can't sit there and learn how to be a civil human being, then shit, son, I'm going to have to do what I got to do. There comes a time when people have had enough. The people that your father manipulated and trashed over and over and stole money from, they got tired of it too. I'm just saying. Now, peace out, ladies and gentlemen. You've been listening to Brett Keane from GodTvRadio.